Maybe one day it'll be our pictures there. Wouldn't that be cool?
You know, maybe one day we'll amount to something, Aaron.
Maybe.
But for now, we're just going to play games and
Here
do
we are in our
podcasts.
basement and having a great time. Hello and welcome to Basements, Faults, and Catapults. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
And I'm Trevor.
And here we're looking at games, genres, and the things that we enjoy in gaming.
And to do that, we're going to randomly select a genre each episode.
We're going to give a brief rundown of that genre.
And then we'll select 2 games. One of these games will be something we want to catapult into glory, while the other will be cast into the fault lines riddling our basement lair. The catch, and what we hope will be the fun part, is that neither of us will have played, or at least played heavily, the titles the other has selected.
Yeah, so we're going to take those titles, the best, the worst, we're going to divide them up, we're going to give it an hour of playtime, we're going to meet back up, and we're going to chat about our experiences playing them.
That's where we'll give our own opinions of the other's game, celebrate where we agree, and refrain from murdering each other where we disagree. After all, not everyone can have a perfect opinion.
And that's it. We hope that you'll join us, listen in, maybe be inspired to try a few titles along the way, or, let us know exactly why our opinions are trash.
Thank you for joining us, and remember, roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. Yay, Back to the Future.
Yay,
I was thinking it'd be really funny if I'm like, where we're going, we don't need roads, and then we end up with like racing.
A racing simulator? Oh yeah.
Dang it, we're gonna need roads.
We're gonna need a lot of roads.
We're gonna need roads,
or at least one road with a lot of right turns,
right?
Or is it left-hand turns?
Yeah, or maybe there'll be like a horror game about Rhode Island. I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
Rhode Island, that's a scary place.
Oh! Yes, it is.
All right.
Yes,
well,
it is.
If you're new to the format, we are quickly going to roll a d20. That number will give us the amount of times we're going to click the randomize button.
Yes.
The randomize button will generate genres based off of a very fancy generator. Hundreds of thousands of hours in research and development have created it. And then we're going to select games within that genre.
Yeah.
We alternate. Sometimes I get the good game, Trevor gets the bad game. The next time I get the bad game, Trevor gets the good game. And who's up for the good game this week?
Well, good sir.
We did Dealer's Choice last week.
We did Dealer's Choice last week. I played the bad game of Sphere Flying Cities.
So it's my turn for the bad game.
So here's the thing. Quick follow-up.
Oh, yeah, you said you were going to play more spheres.
I didn't die. I continued flying around the map, gathering resources, and building a bigger city. And I not once ran into an issue of running out of power or resources. Very weird. But the tutorial definitely sucks, because the tutorial, there's no resources on the map to be found. So the goal is you do die in the tutorial, and you move on to the main game. I left it to TBD last episode.
Yeah?
I am going to throw it in fault. It's not fun.
Oh.
Yeah, like, it's just like...
You did better than me.
It's just like lather, rinse, repeat. It's cool. It's a great concept. But lather, rinse, repeat.
There's nothing past the first bit.
There's just nothing interesting happening in this game.
Yeah, I hate to hear it.
So I'm going to have to throw it a fault, unfortunately.
And you know what? That's where I put it too, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good to know.
Great concept of a game.
Yeah,
and not enough interesting game mechanics to make it worth playing.
Yeah. So and to the developers and programmers and people out there, the creators,
well developed. It's well developed. It's well built. It's well coded. It's very optimized. I love a lot of things about it, but there were so many missed opportunities. And when it's basically like a floating city builder game. And I like building large, expansive cities, and you can't really do that.
Yeah, because you're limited to your... Yeah. So I think the takeaway here is sometimes have a second pair of eyes and ask yourself a very hard question, and that question is there something for someone?
Yeah.
Like, are we building it just to build it, or are we building it for someone?
And I think it's fairly fun. Like I gave it a reasonable fun rating. It's like 7.5 out of 10.
Well, look at you.
I did have fun with it, but it just didn't stick. So we got to pick a new genre.
We do. I have the D20 of Destiny here.
Do it up. Roll that.
We got a sweet 11.
Sweet 11. Okay, well, here we go. Oh no.
What do you mean, oh no?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Souls-like.
Because when Souls-likes go bad, they go
man.
bad.
Man, when was the last time we did a Souls-like?
Way at the beginning. I played not Elden Ring.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, it's not a fan of the Souls-likes, man.
And we've had this conversation. It's just we don't like. We're not here to suffer, guys.
Yeah. So I mean, the Die of Destiny has spoke.
The Die of Destiny has spoke. Are you gonna make me play that Viking game I made you play?
No.
Oh.
No. But I'm gonna have to find you something to play.
Yeah, because Souls-likes, it's not gonna be hard finding a well-rated Souls-like, right? I can make you play Black Myth. I can make you play what's that ninja one? Not Ghost of Tsushima. That's more Assassin's Creed. But the other one.
Yeah. Again,
Sekiro,
not my.
Shadows Only Die.
Now, I mean, Black Myth Wukong looks cool.
It does, but it's also like $90.
Dang, is it expensive?
No,
Dang.
I'm not here for that, and I will never be here for that.
Yeah, your top sellers, Black Myth Wukong for sure.
Yep, Elden Ring still out there.
There is one Souls-like. Now, I don't know if it's actually Souls-like. It's actually added to my wish list the other day, called Witchfire.
Witchfire?
Yeah. Witchfire is a first-person dark fantasy RPG shooter in which you play as a wicked sinner turned witch hunter on his final mission to reach salvation.
Yeah, but this is more FPS.
It kind of is. Yeah, it's like a shooter. I don't know. It's been given a Souls-like tag by someone.
I see that, but like looking at it, it's just. I mean,
Can you have a Souls-like? Can you have a Dark Souls game with guns? Can you?
You can, but like one of the defining characteristics for like a Souls-like for me is the fact that it's third person, and a lot of it is your how the combat plays. Like, yeah, you can play a ranged character in these games, but there's a lot more going on.
I think I'd like to revisit Elden Ring, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I didn't really play it a lot.
Sorry, She Will Punish Them, the HD remaster is a Souls-like.
Yeah, it'll steal your soul, that's for sure.
You play as a succubus trying to... Wow, the character creation engine is real detailed. Dead Cells. Oh, Dead Cells looks really good, actually.
Yeah.
But that's more of a Metroidvania roguelike.
Yeah, it's hard to find. It's hard to find on Steam.
Oh my god, Sekiro! You're still charging $80 for Sekiro? We need to talk.
Yeah, I really want to play that, but I can't. I cannot.
I'm not justifying anything over $50.
It's so expensive to buy games now.
Lies of P is $80. Lies of P wasn't even that good.
Yeah, everything's getting more and more expensive. It's just people always coin this term, the new normal. I'm like, I hate the new normal and I want it to go away. I want to go back to the normal before.
Well, it's only normal because we accept it as normal.
Right?
You know? Like there's no reason we need to accept this. Okay, well,
I'm looking.
Remnant 2, maybe? Oh.
Like I said, I could always revisit Elden Ring, but if you find something interesting, let me know, because I always like playing games I haven't tried before.
Okay. Well, you know what? We'll the one I want you to try is not even remotely feasible, so let's put Elden Ring in the short list here.
Okay.
Oh, the closest I have is Overlord. Why do I have Overlord? It's so weird.
Overlord is a great game.
Don't
you knock it.
I'm not knocking Overlord. I'm just saying it's an odd one to have in my library. As that was like the PlayStation 2 era?
Yeah. Okay, so Remnant 2, Souls-like.
Yeah.
It's $12.99.
Remnant 2?
Remnant 2, The Dark Horizon. It is a Souls-like.
Is that the DLC? Because I thought Remnant 2 was like $60.
Yeah, you know what it is? Maybe it's DLC. Oh my god. Why do they do that to me? Like, don't show me DLC, man. I don't want to see DLC when I'm searching for games.
Definitely $64.99 still.
Don't show me DLC, Steam, unless I own the game. I don't care about your DLC. Instead of Wukong, we got Wolong.
We got Wu-Gang at home.
Yeah, we got Wu-King at home. Wolong, Fallen Dynasty. Yeah. That one's still pretty pricey, though.
Yeah, $33.
But that is probably, we've got Wukong at home.
Yeah, this is definitely Wukong at home.
Yeah, DLCs for Dark Souls 2. No thanks. I won't buy. I don't like Souls-like games. I really try not to like. Don't get me wrong. Dark Souls games, beautiful. Love them. Gorgeous. Great gameplay. Great graphics. I just don't like being tortured to death constantly. That's why I stopped playing the latest or the second last Star Wars.
Survivor.
Yeah. Jedi Survivor or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I stopped playing it. It's too hard. I don't enjoy it.
Don't enjoy it.
It's fun. Everything's pretty easy. The boss battles are torturous, though.
See.
Yeah. But still, it's a beautiful game. It's a great game. I want lightsaber to go vroom vroom.
Yeah. What was Raven Entertainment Jedi Academy 2?
Yes, Jedi Academy 2. I love it.
That's what I want.
Yeah, bring back the Jedi Academy days.
Activision, if you're listening, let Raven out of the Call of Duty mines. Please. Let them out. Let them build and play again.
Yeah. And there's a lot of Souls-like Metrovania. It's like, is it Souls-like or is it Metrovania? DK Online. Yeah, we're not going to do any online games. Although, you know what? One of these days we're going to have to do an extended MMO delve. I don't think we have MMOs on our genre list right now. But I felt like if we did an MMO, it would have to be a planned Saturday.
I think
extended session. Because you got to put at least 10 hours into an MMO. So if you ever got 10 hours and you just want a game, we can always do that.
We can always do that.
But then we'll get it addicted to it, and then away we go.
And then it's a problem, yeah. I even know the MMO I'd like you to play with me.
Which is?
Secret Worlds.
Secret Worlds. Oh, I would try that.
It's I really liked it. I really like it.
So this does not have a Souls-like tag. It's called Hitler Hates Anime, though, and it came up in the Souls-like search. And it's Hitler with a giant phallic baseball bat.
Yeah.
Smashing, and not smashing, like smashing, but like hitting anime girls and just whacking them with this thing.
With the phallic bat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah. Man, the internet is weird.
Yeah, we gotta talk internet. We're putting out some stuff here. Well, I think I'm gonna make you play Elden Ring because I'm seeing nothing else here that I would even be interested in.
And I'm gonna get you to play. And it is tagged Souls-like.
Okay.
It's called Immortal Unchained. Take a look. You're welcome to reject it, and I can find something else. But
Immortal Unchained.
It looks good. It's got mixed reviews. It's $12.49.
Okay.
And it is not the game Cursed Pantsu.
I mean, thank God.
Oh my God.
Interesting.
Why Souls-like come like these are not Souls-likes? Steam, not even remotely.
I do have a Souls-like on my good old games account that I haven't played in a while.
I have a really bad one for $1.29, but it does have very positive reviews somehow.
Oh, what's it called?
A la Mogus Must Die.
Oh yeah, no. Hellpoint is the Souls-like I have on GOG.
Let me see a Hellpoint. What is Hellpoint? Exploring genres is a good time.
And it was one of those like free games, like they were giving them out, and they're like, "Here, you can have this one for free." It's not even on Steam.
I don't think it's any of these ones, unless it's Hellpoint. Yeah, that might be this one. It is. Okay, it's mixed reviews. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do it. Why don't you play Hellpoint? I'll play some Elden Ring, and we'll come back and figure out what we like or don't like about them.
Yeah, all right. Hold on, I gotta.
Now, how big? Yeah, I gotta figure out how to install Elden Ring. How big is Elden Ring? That was 2022. Man, the time flies.
Yeah, right.
It's so unfair.
And it was huge. Like when it came out, it was like, this is the only game.
Well, I was excited about Elden Ring because they were like, George R.R. Martin had.
Yeah, he wrote
a bunch of stuff, lore, whatever you want to call it. And it's funny because actually I was like, when's the story going to start?
Yeah, right.
Right. But you know what? I'm going to revisit it with an open mind today.
Yeah.
I do want to beat Elden Ring. Apparently there's a mod. My brother was telling me that there's a mod for Elden Ring now that you can play seamlessly multiplayer rather than having to like call someone in with a horn and then that kind of janky thing that was going on.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I do want to kind of do some more Elden Ring, but I am I'm not good at these games where it's like, okay, you got a duck, dive, roll.
Duck,
Now,
duck, dodge.
maybe a controller makes it easier
Maybe.
because
Do you
there's
want to
like,
try with the controller?
nah, I it's been like since January I've been talking about I'm going to pair a controller with my computer,
And you still.
and I don't want to use the Switch controllers.
Yeah,
I don't
fair.
really like them that much. Yeah, so this is going to take a while to download. I forgot Elden Ring is like 50 gigabytes.
Jeez.
I mean, at least that's fully patched.
Well,
Right.
Though, thanks to the magic of editing, you guys don't have to be here for it.
Let me talk about Elden Ring really
Let's
quick.
talk about Elden Ring a little bit.
So Elden Ring is still, even though it's 2 years old, it's still $79.99. If you want the Shadow of the Erd Tree edition, it's $106.49 Canadian. And the Shadow of Erd Tree Deluxe edition, $133.49 Canadian. My understanding is that there is DLC. Yeah, the Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC, which is $53 for DLC. That is
that's
insane
obscene
to me. That's insane to me. So anyway, Elden Ring, critically acclaimed fantasy action RPG, rise tarnished and be guided by grace to brandish the power of the Elden Ring and become an Elden Lord in the lands between. It is developed by From Software, well known for making games that punish you like you deserve to be punished.
Like you have been a naughty, naughty boy.
Right?
And they are going to spank you. And it's not going to be like okay, have you learned your lesson? It's going to be, I'm not stopping until you're bleeding.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, it is a very cool game. The graphics are bloody amazing. And I played it for a little bit, but I just couldn't get into it because it's just really challenging.
Just didn't do it for you.
And you got to do a lot of grinding and farming, and I don't know. I'm going to give it a good, honest try.
Yeah.
Metacritic gave it like 94. And honestly, I think it is probably one of the best games made in 2022. It's just because it's a Souls-like, it is so punishing and so hard. And this is where my audience can turn around and say, hey, bro, get good.
Get good.
And that's what I'm going to try to do today. I'm going to try to get good at Elden Ring.
Yeah.
How about you? Why don't you tell me a little bit about Hellpoint?
So Hellpoint is a dark sci-fi action RPG set in the aftermath of a massive quantum cataclysm. Every living being has quickly lost their minds as their memories and bodies were merged with alternate versions of themselves from parallel universes. The accident also attracted entities of immense power that should have been left alone in the depth of other dimensions. Given that it looks very, very Geiger.
Geiger?
Yeah, H.R. Geiger, who did Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
There seems... Oh, so it looks like they built a massive station around a black hole. And they're using the constant gravitic force to power things.
There's a lot of references in movies and in games to hell being related to gravitic drives and gravitic engines.
Yeah,
and
well, there was
right?
that one movie,
Event Horizon.
Yeah,
I actually rewatched that a couple of months ago.
Do you know what's interesting about Event Horizon? Is it is the closest we've ever gotten to a Warhammer 40k movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the whole gravitic drive turns out you're traveling through hell.
Yeah.
Well, that's warp travel in 40k.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Event Horizon is definitely one of those, like, if you haven't seen it, it is a cult classic and you should watch it. It is very, very cool. It's creepy. As far as horror movies go, it is just the right amount of creepy for a horror movie. Like it is good. It is very dark. But it's cool. I would love to see a follow-up movie to Event Horizon, to be honest.
What would they even do? We're trying it out again.
Well, no, what I'm saying is you have the survivors, you have all these things, but I think you have, I don't know, you have something like, think about the Warhammer universe. You've got all these things you can delve into with ideas.
Yeah, that's true.
Why not look at that because it has opened a portal to hell? Now you have basically 1,000 years later, a giant war between humanity and what is essentially demons coming from the void. And I don't know. I'd like to explore it further because I really want to not just like Michael Bay it and blow things up and be like, war, boom, boom, boom. I want to actually see.
I want to explore.
I want to explore the psychology of it, the philosophy of it, the deeper meanings behind it, the because the whole idea is the guy loses his wife and makes it his mission to like, he's going to save her by going to hell to get her back, which, I mean, because she killed herself, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so
wait, is this Event Horizon? I thought this was, that sounds like that.
Yeah, What Dreams
Robin
May Come.
Williams
Yeah,
movie.
it sounds like What Dreams May Come, but no, yeah, she died or whatever, and I guess he wanted to go and be back with her again, and that's the whole reason why he built this Grivitic Drive in the first place, was to like open a portal to hell. So he knew what he was doing the whole time, apparently. I don't know, that's at least what I took away from it.
So that's what you remember?
Yeah. So yeah, Hellpoint. So what do you do? What's kind of what's the catch?
I don't know.
What brings you in?
I don't know, man.
Hellpoint is an intense action RPG taking place on Edid Nova, a derelict space station soaked in an intoxicating dark sci-fi atmosphere. Fight dreadful creatures, face the cosmic gods, and unravel their twisted story. Should the challenge be too great, play with a friend in local or online co-op. It is published by Tiny Build and developed by Cradle Games. All right, so I'm going to be playing Elden Ring, and you're going to be playing Hellpoint. Actually, it's funny because my brain goes all over the place, as one does with ADHD.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned Hellpoint, I was thinking about that London game. What was it?
Hellgate.
Hellgate
London.
Hellgate London. Yeah,
I really liked Hellgate London.
I know, it was actually so fun. Like as a looter shooter game.
Yeah, it was good.
It was so much fun.
You can you can buy it now, but it got bought by a Chinese company.
Yeah.
That stripped it down to its most like I remember playing it and it looking.
Oh, the graphics were freaking phenomenal on my SLI system.
Yeah, no, it looks like shit now.
Okay.
There's no option to make it look better. There's no HD pack. They got rid of all the cinematics.
Man.
The game, it's literally they did everything they could to make it super cheap to upload, and there's no server maintenance, nothing. It's bad.
But speaking of games that kind of look like that and feel like that, we should over the holidays coming up here in December.
Yeah.
We should pick a day and we should do a Dead Space stream.
Well, that would be fun.
We should do like a good 4 or 5 hours Dead Space playthrough and just is Dead Space 2, I think, or Dead Space 3?
Dead Space 3 has
Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3 is what a game. Looter shooter? What a game.
What a game.
All right.
But the Dead Space series isn't supposed to be a looter shooter.
Well,
it's supposed to be survival horror.
It is survival horror, but I love the mechanics of editing your suit and adding on to it and getting better guns and better weapons. Yeah, it's I also want your help with Risk of Rain 2.
Oh.
Yeah, it's more of a roguelike, but I would like to get your help with it because I suck and I can't seem to beat it on my own. I can't even get past the first level, so I don't get any of the carryover items. Yeah, there's a lot of things we could play. But for today, we're going to delve into our selected Souls-like games and torture ourselves into oblivion.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, 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 bum. All right, well, how long till you're downloaded?
Oh, I'm downloaded. I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm ready to go in about, I don't know, a couple minutes. So why don't we put on our headsets, plug in our brains, burn out our eyeballs.
Lock in. I'll set the timer.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Die as many times as you need to.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's no don't die here. This is just what's happening.
Just keep dying. Yeah. So, tell me about Hellpoint. Oh, what the hell just happened? I literally told it to exit the game, and now I've got a Bandai black screen behind me.
Nice.
God, make your games not buggy. It's been out for 2 years, you guys.
Now we're just finding things to be mad about.
Waiting for Elden Ring to shut down.
Yeah. Now we're looking to be mad at things.
Well, yeah. It's just why am I getting a Bandai startup screen when I quit the game?
No, absolutely.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, I agree entirely.
Oh well. So, the Souls-like genre, Hellpoint. Walk me through a day in the life of Aaron playing Hellpoint.
Wake up, die, wake up, die, wake up, do okay, die, wake up, do a little bit better, boss fight, die, wake up, level up, wake up, die.
Do you feel like you at least started getting the hang of it?
You know what? There was a moment near the end there where I was like, okay, things are starting to click. I'm starting to get it. And then I got sloppy and I died. And I think that's what is really cool about the Souls-like genre, is that sense of like, I get in my own way.
Yeah.
But for every moment of like, I got in my own way, there are hundreds of moments of like, this is just frankly unfair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a punishing game.
Yeah, it's punishment. And I can see why people get into them. I really can, because that endorphin rush, that dopamine moment of like, I won! But for me, the I won is not worth the pain.
Yeah, I've never understood why people like Dark Souls games so much. And I get different people have different perspectives.
Yeah.
But for me, I just can't get myself to want to play a Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the point of the game? What were the goals? What were the outcome? What did you learn?
I don't know. I woke up in what's called the spawning pit.
Okay. The gulag.
The gulag. And a strange voice whispered in my ear, find me in the embassy and I will tell you what your purpose is. And you're like, cool. So
where's the embassy and how do I get there?
Exactly, right? Yeah. So I mean the game, like most they really borrow heavily from Software's Dark Souls series and all of that drama. So it is painful, it does suck. But I never felt lost. Right?
Okay.
Everything sort of, you could go branch out, but everything narrowed down to the point where you're supposed to be.
Right.
So that's fine. I wasn't too choked about that. But simultaneously, there was just ugh.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like you had a great time.
I didn't. And that's because a lot of this is I enjoy consequences in my game. If I do something wrong, I did something wrong. There should be a consequence for that, right?
Yeah, like Baldur's Gate 3. If you roll a bad roll and your character dies, they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's there's that you can recover.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you screwed up here, but the story goes on. There's things that you can do differently. In this, if you screw up a fight and have to use a health potion, you only ever have 2. So now you're down a health potion for later in the game. And while you can regenerate and replenish those, it's very punishing to get them back.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like the punishment is outsized.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it got mixed reviews on Steam. People are saying things like, I think I missed something. How can this game have slightly better reviews than actual good Souls-likes? Game has issues, enemies shoot through walls, get hit by invisible attacks. A lot of people like it, though. I mean, they're saying it was fun. When I streamed this, the developer was able to backdoor into my game, leaving me cryptic messages while I played it. That's interesting. What would you say it did well?
Very atmospheric. Like you feel like you're in a collapsing space station. The corridors are cramped. You can see your character's breath because obviously the temperature controls are starting to go.
So it's sci-fi?
Very dark sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
Event Horizon.
Oh, okay. All right.
Very, very much that sort of world.
I like it.
You can tell something went wrong here, but it used to be beautiful.
Okay.
Because you can see these pillars, gorgeous marble carved, and they're broken.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's decay inside them somehow. All right. So it's interesting, and I genuinely found the world compelling, right? But at the same time, I did not want to exist in this world despite its beauty because it was just so punishing.
Fair enough. Well, why don't we talk about graphics? Walk me through the graphics of the game.
The graphics were okay. They did the job. They're I want to say 2016, 2019
would be 2020, July.
2020. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So like they're not AAA, but I don't want to pay AAA prices.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'm okay with the graphics that we got. Your character model's very detailed, but there's no character customization. What you are is what you are.
Okay.
Which allows them to really focus on it and make it good, right? But it's also very kind of boring and disassociative. So it is an interesting game. There's a lot of stuff in it that I'm like intrigued by.
Yeah.
I own it. I think it was a free game back as a giveaway at some point, but I don't think I would ever go back and play it.
Yeah, the graphics look kind of cool. They're like I would call it space punk.
Yeah. It reminds me of another game I played that I really wanted to do well on Steam. In terms of the art style.
Like it looks decent. It looks like the textures are good.
Yeah. The textures are good. Like the combat feedback is pretty good. Again, I have a big problem when there's like the enemy can do something I can't. I find that extremely frustrating. Because they're able to attack in these massive, huge arcs, and I'm limited to 2 swings and then a step back.
Yeah.
So I have a problem there, but Insomnia, that's the other game the art style reminded me of it. Anyway, so like there's things about it that I like. But overall, just I didn't run into any jank. But
didn't get stuck in any walls.
No walls, no camera stutter. No, nothing like that. And I think that's because they did it in a very sort of like base kind of, not cheap, but a very, I guess, standardized thing. They weren't trying to push any envelopes. So
right.
Any problems that they may have come into during development, they already knew the answers to, right? Because this problem has been solved by other people.
Yeah.
Right. So which is the benefit of working in an older engine. Right. So I didn't hate it.
So what would you rate the graphics and the artwork?
Art direction and art world was really cool. It was really cohesive.
Nice.
Graphic wise, like it wasn't great. Right?
Okay.
Good enough.
Yeah.
It did the job.
Yeah.
It falls into the brown that Demon Souls and to an extent Dark Souls all had.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very technical.
It's not vivid.
Yeah, it wasn't vivid.
Yeah.
So I guess for art, I'd go ahead and give it like a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
But good enough.
Yeah. It
Fair
did
enough.
the job.
How about the music and the audio?
Music, audio, it sounded scary. It sounded abandoned. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 7 as well.
Okay.
It was good.
All right. So far, so good. So now regale me with the gameplay rating.
Gameplay we're going to have to talk about. Because gameplay, for a game to be good, I should never have to go, how do I do this? The game should have already told me how to do this or demonstrated how to do this. And there were multiple times where I had to Google, how do I raise my shield? How do I block? How do I parry? How do I dodge? And there are little tutorial messages on the walls, but they come very few and far between. For example, it didn't tell me how to sprint until I had gotten maybe an hour, 30 minutes into the game. I mean, I know how to sprint, right?
Yeah,
it's shift. That's every game.
Oh, not an Elden Ring.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
But, like, just the fact alone that it didn't tell me such a basic thing until way down the road. If I had never played a computer game before, if I didn't have that, like, institutional knowledge of how control schemes work, I would be screwed, right?
Fair.
So I really have to dock a lot of points for that. If you don't make your game, I don't want to say accessible, because that's not the point. The point is if you don't give the player all the tools right away, or at least give them the opportunity to learn those tools, then you have put the player in a position where they can't succeed. It's not the player getting in their own way. It's you getting in the player's way. And I cannot condone that. So they're going to take a big hit on that. I'm going to go ahead and give their gameplay a 5.
Okay, fair enough.
Right? Like, the gameplay was, once you knew everything, it was cohesive, it flowed well, it was a well-executed and well-organized engine. But the fact that they withheld information and did not give you an ability to find that information or learn that information, I can't forget that. So that's a 5.
Yeah, the game should make sense how to play. It should be easy point of entry.
Yeah.
If you are designing and developing a video game that does not have a relatively easy point of entry, you are basically alienating probably 75% of your potential market. Yeah.
And more to the point, it's you're putting an artificial obstacle in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't condone that.
Yeah, that's fair. So,
Fun?
did you? How was your fun?
I didn't have any fun.
Yeah, no fun.
I had no fun. I'm gonna give that a 4.5.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like that. That's where you're like, I need chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. Some. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna boot up Cultist Simulator.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess my overall rating
5.9.
5.9.
5.9.
Yeah, that's about like cool concept, cool ideas. I liked the setting. I liked all of that, but yeah, I can't forgive you for forcing obstacles. Like hard enemies, sure, awesome, cool.
Yeah.
But you haven't given me the tools.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm all for challenging games. Like, I enjoy challenging games.
Yeah.
Like playing strategy games on the hardest difficulty mode just to like see how good I have to get before I can beat those modes. And to come up with new strategies. But yeah. I'm sorry you didn't have fun.
Whatever, right?
Yeah, whatever. So fault or catapult?
Catapult. Fault.
Use the catapult to launch it into the fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I like it. Strap it to the catapult so it just smashes into the ground. Yeah.
We're done.
Well, you hate to hear it.
I hate to hear it, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Anything else you want to add for Hellpoint?
You know, I'll never understand the people who really love these games, and I want to make it very clear that I'm not here to yuck your yum. This is something you love. So cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm so glad you have something you love, and I want you to enjoy it. I can't figure out the joy in it. So there's that.
Fair enough. So anyway. So this little spark comes down, kind of, I don't know, brings you to life or animates you or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you kind of walk out of this like citadel, and there's this giant ugly monster boss thing that just owns you, kills you, just destroys you. You wake up in a cave. Some lady on a horse comes up and is kind of like, "Oh, hey,
You're made
you're tarnished. You're you know, one of his kind is going to find the Elden Ring, which is apparently shattered, and spread little chunks of it across all of the quote unquote bosses in the game. That's kind of how the story goes. And so you wake up in a cave, fight your way out, go through the little tutorial, learn how to fight, learn how to dodge, learn how to duck and roll. Then you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. You don't know where to go. You don't have any real purpose or goal at this point. So you're just exploring, killing things and exploring. And like, it's kind of what you expect from a Dark Souls game is you're going to
so cool.
Kill and explore. You kind of get going, kind of start getting good at it, killing the bosses, killing the enemies. But the game kind of is a little bit hard to get going. Now, I'm a keyboard mouse player.
Mm-hmm.
Elden Ring's keyboard mouse layout makes 0 sense whatsoever. Crouch is X. Normally that should be C. Jump is F, which should be spacebar. So to dash, you hold spacebar. Not intuitive. Yeah, and then like changing items, there's no like rotary wheel kind of thing. You actually have to go and press the arrow keys, left, right, up, down to switch items in 4 different item slots that you have. The game was clearly, like you kind of said it. It's designed for console. It was ported to PC with kind of as a second thought, in my opinion. I think if you've got a game controller and you enjoy playing with a game controller, it's probably not as bad.
Yeah. Because your D-pad's right there, and you go to.
But there's so many things to know. Like, you've got to know how to change items and use items, and then they give you a little ring and say it summons a horse, and you're like, okay, but I don't know what button to press, and you press all the buttons on your keyboard, and no horse is summoned.
It's a horse.
So ultimately, like, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of intrigue.
Yeah.
It's definitely Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Very hard.
110%.
The keybinds are ruining it for me, to be honest. And I know I can change the keybinds, but there's actually an option in the menu. And this is, I think, how they try to force your hand into using a controller is the game defaults to like press A to do this, B to do that. So it's defaulting to controller layout. You actually have to go through the menus and find the option to change the quick tips to keyboard layout so that you're not getting gamepad layouts as part of the tutorials. So it definitely encourages you to use a controller. So, maybe I'll try it with a controller. Maybe I won't. I prefer the keyboard regardless. Keyboard mouse is my jam.
Who doesn't love a good keyboard?
But like a lot of games for computer, like if you look like a Skyrim or a Starfield, those games, you kind of have free-flowing motion.
Yeah.
Right? You can run and jump and attack at the same time. Whereas in Elden Ring, when you commit to an attack set or a move set, you follow through. You cannot move. You are control locked during any attack, any move. So if you commit to a move and then you're like, oh, I see the guy is flinching to attack, you can't evade. You can't change your mind after the fact. And I guess that's part of the strategy of the game. But it's most, like 99% of third-person computer games give you a lot more freedom of movement than Elden Ring does. And while I feel like I know that that's on purpose, because I'm so used to like free roaming games where, I can run and I can sidestep and dodge and move while swinging a weapon, and then I'm not fully committed. This game kind of takes like what I would call the Aikido philosophy, where it's like, once you're in motion, you have to continue being in motion.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just like randomly stop an attack mid-attack. And that kind of makes sense. Like if I'm going to swing something really heavy,
it's happening.
In most games, you can just escape from the animation sequence and switch to a different animation sequence, or like unequip your weapon and equip something else mid-attack, right?
Yeah,
and this game is like, no. We're going to give you more realistic combat.
Yeah, that's the old cancel attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can respect that. I can respect that the game kind of says, hey, you have to be careful when and how you commit to an action, because that action has to go through the full animation before you can do another action or move or escape or change weapons or jump or dodge or anything, right? Because in a lot of other games, you dodge whenever you want to dodge. You just hit the dodge button. And it doesn't matter if you're mid-animation, it switches to dodge.
Yeah.
And so I guess I've taken that for granted with other games where I have that freedom of movement and that freedom of flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's because those games are prioritizing the player having fun. Those games are prioritizing the player having the freedom to move and act as they choose. And Elden Ring, because it's a Souls-like, and particularly because it's that style of the Dark Souls games, has said, you do not get freedom of movement. You get freedom of action, but you lose freedom of movement. And action and momentum takes precedent and priority. And again, I can respect that. I think that once you accept that about the game, you can realize that this game is designed, it's meant to be that way, and you have to kind of just commit to it. So that allows me to kind of just have fun and enjoy the game when I go, okay, I know the control scheme is jank for keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
But I'm choosing to not play with a controller. So I have to accept that. I know that the game is hard. And, there's certain things in the game, like I'm aiming to swing my club. And I'm aiming at a particular object, like a shiny skull on the ground that's going to drop runes or whatever. And I aim the mouse and I swing. And like the swing is to the left of where I aimed or to the right of where I aimed. It doesn't really swing and aim where I expected it to. And then like my feet end up touching the skull. So the skull goes flying. And so I have to chase after it. There's a few little jank things in the game. And I think that like aim accuracy is a little off, a little weird. Because it's less so where your mouse is pointing and more the direction your character is pointing. And you have to kind of differentiate between where your mouse cursor is aiming at and the way your character is kind of aligned, because your character is going to attack in a particular direction, regardless of where you think it's going to go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's a good game. It's a pretty game. It's I finally get to like three of the little save points, and then the maiden shows up and goes, "Hey, I can fulfill the role of your maiden. I can level you up." And I'm like, thank God, because I have a strength 16 longsword. And I need to be leveled up so that I can use the darn thing.
Yeah.
But apparently level 2 I only have 12 strength. So it means I'm going to have to gain like 4 levels to get, I'm going to have to do level 6 to be able to use my sword, or level 7. So I'm like, ugh. So now I have to choose to pour all of my stats into just strength, because each stat is a level.
Yep. Yeah, and levels cost and X. Yeah.
So again, most games I'm used to like, okay, you level up, here's 4 stat points or 5 or 6 stat points that you can spread across whatever you want.
Yeah, or yeah.
But not in Elden Ring.
20 to go from 1 to 2, 40 to go from 2 to 3, 60 to go from 3 to 4.
Elden Ring decided that
each stat point's a level.
One stat point is 1 level up. I don't know if there's a level cap in the game.
Yeah, so to go from level 1 to 2 is 100, and to go from level 2 to 3 is 200. So you may be leveling your stamina up from 1 to 2, but it's still going to cost you, if you do it late in the game, still going to cost you 800, 600.
Yeah, so like it's like 1,200 runes to level up one stat, and that level, you hit plus on the one stat, now you're level 2.
Yeah.
You hit plus on the next stat, now you're level 3.
Yep.
So I'm level 2 now, 12 strength, so I still can't wield the great sword that I found, which is unfortunate. Now I started as a wretch, so I started at 10 up, all my stats are 10, and I have no weapons, and I have no starting equipment.
Right.
It's a Souls-like game. You got to start yourself with nothing. That's the only way to punish yourself through. So the graphics are pretty decent. I think on a 3090 at 1440p, getting 49 FPS.
Yeah.
Because of ray tracing and whatever else.
Not okay.
Yeah, like the game is really graphically demanding, and there's a lot of really great lighting and a lot of really great artwork and design, and I can see why it renders the way it does, although the maiden is kind of Final Fantasy kind of style. Like her face reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah, when I first saw her, it was like, oh, that's like a summon or something from Final Fantasy.
Yeah. And it was good in the cutscene, but then when it moved to just the regular game animation, she kind of looks like the character model isn't that great, to be honest. Like they focused a lot on the hair, but facial features are less notable or noticeable. But the graphics are great. It's a beautiful game. The lighting is great. I can't complain. I think the graphics are phenomenal. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10 for graphics. And the reason it's not a 9 or a 10 is because I just feel like for the FPS drain on a 3090, I would expect it to just look a little nicer. Like, and again, you look at like a Cyberpunk 2077. Well, I can get 60 FPS in Cyberpunk or 55 FPS with max graphics on a 3090.
But it looks amazing.
And everything is really well detailed. And Elden Ring has a lot going on graphically, clearly, because it's really taxing to the GPU.
And it's a big world, and most of it's loaded in.
I mean, Elden Ring is one of those games where I would say I would love the next time I do a computer build, like if I'm rocking a 5080 or 5090 or whatever I end up with, that then I would love to play Elden Ring on the highest graphic settings again and get that higher FPS and really just kind of push it to the maximum.
Just push it to the limit.
But I found myself on like a high-end system from when Elden Ring came out. Turning the graphic settings down a little bit just to get a higher FPS, just to make it a little more fluid. 60 FPS is like great. 60 and up, you're good.
Yeah.
But like I was hitting like 48, 49 at times, and I just that bothers me.
That bothers a lot of people.
That bothers me.
And also in a game like Elden Ring, where you need that smoothness to anticipate movements and to time your movements, you can't afford to drop down to 40 sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, still an 8.5. I think it's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
Great art direction.
Beauty.
Good job, guys.
Good job. Coherent beauty.
Music audio, can't say as I heard any music. Maybe it's just the volume on the music was really low.
Maybe.
I liked all the audio. I liked all the attack sequences, the sounds, the squishiness of when you get hit and stabbed. Just for argument's sake and ambiance of the game, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It was good enough. It wasn't anything special. I don't think that the audio is what makes or breaks this particular game.
Yeah.
Gameplay, the whole idea that you can't escape from an animation sequence and you have to commit to the move and commit to the action really makes me dislike the gameplay.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to having that freedom. But if I sit down and I accept that is the way the gameplay is, then my only complaint with the gameplay is the aim jank. So when I'm aiming at something and I expect my club to hit that thing I'm aiming at and it's completely off mark, and a little bit of the movement system being a little bit weird, I'd give it an 8.5. Yeah, like I can't give it higher than that because it's definitely great. The gameplay is definitely great. Like 7 is good enough. 8.5 is pretty great. But with the fact that a keyboard and like a mouse is a precision device, precision aiming, precision clicking. So when you're finding,
that's why PC gamers have dominated on the FPS market for so long.
Yeah. So when I feel like they are inhibiting the precision of my mouse because of their movement system, I feel like that loses some points. That loses some points for me. And again, this is a problem of porting from console to PC.
Yeah. No, that's always the problem.
And that's why companies should take a little bit more time instead of just doing like a copy and paste port and be like, we'll just throw some keybinds in there and make it work.
It'll work.
Take your time to actually make a separate version or patch for the control system of PC so that the controls are a little less janky. But I can see that in Elden Ring, they probably ran into technical challenges because of the way their movement system works with controller and with attacking and things like that, that you're meant to just perceive the direction. You're not meant to have a mouse giving you the kind of idea of precision.
Yeah.
So it is not a game that lends itself well to keyboard and mouse. And I can only say that so many times, but it is the fact with Elden Ring. Playing with keyboard and mouse is not fun. Playing with it's possible, it's doable, but it is less fun, I think, than it would be playing with a controller. I just hate controllers. You charge them and set them. It's just another thing to clutter up my desk. I already have a keyboard and mouse on my desk, right? I don't want another item. So that's more of a me thing, more of a preference thing.
Yeah, but hey, this is our show and our opinions.
Yes.
So
and like for fun, I would say like it's an 8. And like it's not as punishing as like Dark Souls was. I was able to get past some of the guards and bosses, and they are very, very generous with the attack patterns of their characters. I would say far more generous than any of the Dark Souls games that I've played in the past. They're very generous in that they don't seem to attack frequently. When they do attack, they follow a very specific pattern. And yeah, they do have alternate attacks and alternate things, and it's not perfectly follow the pattern and you're good, but it can be predictable. So it's difficult, it's challenging, especially when you're running around naked with a club, trying to kill a guy with a full.
Yeah, that was your choice to play the wretch, though. You should have started as the samurai.
But the guy's got full armor, a tower shield, and a spear.
Yeah,
and I mean, if in real life you end up against a guy with a tower shield and a spear with just a club, you're probably toast.
You're hooped.
You're hooped. And so I appreciate that realism, but I also appreciate that they're like, hey, we're not going to make it so hard that the character just randomly is just attacking and swinging wildly. That the enemies are also calculating. So they are taking their time, they're attacking, and they are also committed to their animation sequence.
They don't have a cancel either.
Yeah, they don't have a cancel. Although it seems that when you hit them really hard with a power attack, it will break the animation and put them into a stagger, which is actually good. It makes sense. That mechanic makes sense because, I mean, if you get hit in the face when you're running straight for somebody, you're going to stagger or fall or impact.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So they have that in the game, and I think that's very well thought out. I actually think the combat system is quite nice. It's just more challenging with the keyboard and mouse. So I had fun, yeah.
Did you?
And I feel like
wow.
I feel like I say that, but I also made choices to have fun. Like I'm not going to go after the big golden knight on the big golden armored horse.
Yeah, I'm not
because
that. That's stupid.
He's got a battle axe bigger than my body.
Yeah, he'll take care of me.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go after him. And I didn't go up against any of the bosses. And I remember when I first played Elden Ring, I got up to like the Black Knight on the bridge or whatever, and I got just like wrecked by him 1,400 times because he just runs by you with the horse and boop, off your head.
Off you go.
So I do know that the game is hard. I definitely know that it's going to be frustrating to play through it.
Yeah, and hard isn't a problem. I don't mind hard. I mind when the game withholds information.
Yeah, and to make the fun a 9 or a 10, it would have had to have been a little bit better on Why am I here? What's the purpose of the game? Because it's like, oh yeah, you're going to get the Elden Ring. All I know about the Elden Ring from the cutscenes is that it was shattered into multiple shards, and the power of it is with all of these, great lords or demons or whatever the heck they are, bosses, let's call them.
Yeah, but that's kind of From Software. From Software has never told the full story. It's all just bits and pieces you have to pick up along the way.
And I don't know. I mean, there's a reason why my personal favorite games are RPGs and story-driven games.
Yeah.
And The Witcher
absolutely.
3, where it's quest systems, and you can go here, do this, go here, do that. And on the flip side, there's some games like World of Warcraft where I hate the quest system. I don't want to be told where to go and what to do. I do want to explore.
Yeah.
So this game, I think, while I haven't been given any quests yet, and I don't really know what I'm doing or where I'm going, I feel like it is leaving it for me to kind of explore the world and adventure. And just like Skyrim, like, hey, you woke up, you ran away from a dragon, now where do I go? And what do I do? Well, go to Riften or go to Whiterun, and you're like, where's that? And how do I get there? And you kind of get like a basic start, but if you want, you could just go join the Thieves Guild.
Yeah, you don't have to go to those places. You can skip that.
Yeah, and I think it is challenging for me to wrap my general sense of gaming around a game where it's like, it's open world, but it's also hard as heck. And it is open world, but if you go too far, the bosses and the monsters will just own you. So it is open world, but it's not. It is like you are going to have to achieve level 10 and get better gear before you go past this point. Whereas like Skyrim, go wherever you want. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Everything levels according to your level. Everything scales according to your level. Well, not Elden Ring. Elden Ring is, no, you want to progress. You're going to have to grind runes, kill things, reset, fight the same enemies. And I think
if you're particularly skilled, you can challenge something, but be aware that you have to be very good at the game.
Yeah. But I think that's where it detracts from the fun for me a little bit is I don't like grinding. I don't like going, oh, if the purpose of grinding was better gear, okay, we could do that. Better loot, sure. But if the purpose of grinding is I have to kill 1,400 of this one type of enemy because I can't kill the stronger enemies, and I need to collect runes so that I can get more powerful. Well, if I'm going to put 100 hours into a game and 80 of those hours is just to grind and just get more runes so I can level up, there needs to be more diversity in the content for me to actually go and fight. I don't want to just reset the same point and fight the same enemies 20 times to get enough runes to level up. And I may be complaining without a point because I'm sure some gamers are good enough to go, oh no, I was level 2 when I went and I fought the main boss and I won because I'm really good at Souls games. Yeah, I'm not that good at Souls games, and so I do need to grind and level up, and that's where I always talk about point of entry into a game. The point of entry has to be accessible to every gamer if you want the game to be available for every gamer or to sell extremely well. Elden Ring sold extremely well because of hype. Streamers, Twitch streamers, YouTubers, that kind of thing. I would love to see how a game like Elden Ring would sell without the hype, without the YouTubers and the Twitch streamers and the reviewers.
Have those, yeah.
Right. What if we didn't have those? Would Elden Ring still be a viable game? Probably, but I don't think it would make enough sales to justify its budget, right? And I think that's where, honestly, Twitch streamers and YouTubers are the reason why a lot of games are successful or not successful.
Yeah, to that point, like, there was always a place, like Dark Souls and Demon Souls always had a fan base, right?
Yeah.
But, if you take those games and compare them to what Elden Ring is, Elden Ring swung for the fences.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in terms of everything it did was big, big, big. Like, it's $90. I would never pay that, but I understand why they're charging that. You know?
Yeah, and I think, so overall, general rating averages out at 8 out of 10.
All right. That's a reasonable rating.
And I can see why some people would give it a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. I mean, I'll throw it in the catapult, and I'll launch it into fandom, because, no, Elden Ring's a great game. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a lot of fun. It's just in a genre that I'm not really a big fan of.
You're not part of, yeah.
And, but I did, I bought it. I played it for a while, and I got back into it for this episode, and I didn't remember a darn thing. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a great game. I think if you're into the Dark Souls genre, and then you've probably already bought it, and you're probably already played it.
Yeah.
But I don't think everybody who's bought it has beaten it. I'd love to see some of the statistics about how many people actually finished the game, how many people actually played more than 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours. I'd love to see the stats because
I mean,
I don't know
tons.
how many. I can safely say that all of the people that I know that are my age, that are gamers,
Don't play
would
this.
greatly dislike this game.
Yeah.
They probably would buy it, they'd play it, they'd put it aside, and they'd never kind of finish it. I don't know if I'll ever finish the game, to be honest. I probably won't. I think it's a kind of game that, because it is so grindy and there isn't, like, I love games where there's books to open and lore to read and like a lot of in-depth storytelling and like I run into somebody in the village and they need my help and I have to go do a thing. And I love those quest-driven games when it's a nice breakup between exploring and questing. And I feel like in this game, it's like, oh, I'm not really meeting people unless they're trying to sell me something. And I'm not really meeting anyone with any meaning. I'm not developing relationships with any other characters. I'm not building friendships. I'm not helping someone. It's not like, oh, help, my child was abducted by a werewolf. Like, okay, that's cool. I'll go save your child from the werewolf. And now I feel like I did a thing.
Yeah, I did something.
I feel like Elden Ring and Dark Souls games in general completely lack that mechanic. And I feel like if you took Elden Ring and you created villages and towns and areas in the game where there are people to help, people to guide you and give you purpose and meaning, I think that the game would be further enjoyed by a wider audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's a choice the developers made, and I'm not condemning them for it, right? Because there is an audience, there are people who are very passionate about this, and that's so cool. But yeah, when you build a niche game, don't be surprised when you only have a niche audience,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I just heard the other day, like, Thor, Pirate Software. He was talking about how no company has any interest in making another StarCraft or another, even RTS games. Like, there's very little, big studios don't want to spend money on RTS games anymore because they don't sell. They're niche. Only certain people like real-time strategy. It's not accessible like an Animal Crossing or a Pokemon or a Stardew Valley, right? Sorry, Pokemon. Pokemon.
Oh, Pal World is getting sued, but that's a diffld conversation.
We'll talk about that in our pre-banter next time.
That'll be a pre-banter
because I freaking love Pal World.
Next week.
Next week on Pal World Z. Yeah. All right. Well, hey.
This was a blast. Thank you all very much for joining us. And you know what? I would love to hear from you guys if you're really passionate and love these sorts of games that we played today. Let us know what brings you in. Like, there are parts of it I can understand, like the challenge and the sudden understanding, and I get that. But for me, the payoff the juice isn't worth the squeeze, if you will. So I'd love to hear your interpretations and why you love that juice.
Yeah, why do you love games that are so hard and punishing?
Yeah, tell us. We want to hear about it.
Let us know. bfcpcontact@gmail.com.
Yeah, or hop on our Discord.
Yeah.
Links in our Patreon.
Yeah, check it out. All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's our time, and the end of our episode.
But don't feel sad it's over. Be glad it happened. From the two of us in the basement, thanks for tuning in.
Join us next time.
And feel free to send us any feedback on our socials or send us a direct email at bfcpcontact@gmail.com.
And if you're really interested in what we're doing, join us on Patreon, where we will have loads of behind-the-scenes stuff and uncut takes as more episodes are released. Patreon.com/basements, faults, and catapults.
We're always excited to hear from you because we love engagement. We look forward to our next catapult launch and hope you can join us for the ensuing chaos.
Good luck.
See you next time.
The sexy nurses actually were narratively important.
Yeah.
Because they represented your character's lust. Because Silent Hill is essentially hell.
Yeah, it's hell, so lust and all
and
the things.
And every enemy, every creature is your character, an aspect of your character's sin.